My name is Sean Curry, and this is Chronos the Turtle, a 2D side-scroller much like Sonic the Hedgehog, except for the player slows down time rather than speeding up the player himself. This will be a challenge for players to get to the end of every level without the hare's family interfering and stopping him from winning the race against the hare. Chronos is really slow and won't get past a lot of platforms or enemies without his time-controlling abilities. So what does the player do? Mostly like Sonic the Hedgehog, moves from left to right to move the screen accordingly. Players will find hidden items like Sonic as well, but instead of speed up shoes, the player would get extended time to control power. The main objective of any level is to reach the end, defeat enemies in the way, including bosses, and move to the next level. The main time slow ability would be similar to Beautiful Joe's, where unlike Sonic's ability to go faster, the environment would slow down. Much like how time slows in Prince of Persia, the rewind ability slows down the environment, making the player move back in time, but we're not going back in time. More of a forward ability like Braid than just a rewind ability, as the environment will slow like Prince of Persia, but will go even further forward rather than going back. The player can use this ability to fight in slow motion or just continue, and here like Beautiful Joe, the art can be implemented by choosing to fight with one or two simple prefabs for one attack on an enemy. The player's interactions with the game will make the experience grow as they play more, so with increasing amounts of levels completed, they will become much more difficult. The level's progressions will also incorporate a change of scenery to try to help show things that start from giving the player a simple and lighthearted look to something coming off a bit more intimidating. You can see the environmental progression of difficulty in just the scenery itself. This will give the impression of the level looking more intense, so the player can not only feel the game getting harder, but it also looks like it's getting harder. A level increasing in difficulty by itself will be as such. The player encounters the first enemy, needs to cross a platform, two enemies, or even a harder enemy, and then a puzzle, and so on. Enemies are the hare's family. They become stronger, appear 2 times more, have extra health, sometimes extra armor, special abilities, or just depending on what the level's environment is. Platforming requires players to jump from one spot to a new one, to overcome falling off the map to get to a new area, or to avoid touching things that would hurt or send the player to the beginning of the level. Players will encounter moving platforms or walls that need to be stopped in order to continue. Much like Link's stasis ability from Breath of the Wild, but rather than stopping a single object, it stops everything around the player. Enemy puzzles and platforms like these will become longer and more difficult, like this difference between level 1 here and level 3. You'll notice the level is a lot longer and things are going up on the difficulty scale. As far as the rabbit-haired bosses themselves, they'll be at the end of every level to stop the player. These bosses will vary, much like the type of level like the normal hares. But these guys will be a lot bigger, have a lot more health, and a lot more armor, and will always have one weakness that needs to be exploited in order to be defeated. Harder bosses will have harder weaknesses or ways to exploit them. 3 levels alone, I believe, are honestly time manageable, and the layout of the game is thorough. With wacky characters and a simple art design, as well as a thorough level design, I truly believe this could not be only a fun game to make, but an even more fun game to play. Thank you for watching my pitch for Chronos the Turtle. Keep on gaming.